Time for our crypto report now, and let's take a look back on the crypto market since the start of the war on Ukraine. Bitcoin and others have been fluctuating ever since, caught in the crosshairs between Russian sanctions abroad and rising interest rates in the United States. Let's bring in our own crypto contributor, Sonali Basak, now for more on this. Quite an interesting pattern.
Quite an interesting pattern, but I think what's important to note here is that even amid the volatility, Bitcoin has erased its losses for the year. And since the war has started, you see that Bitcoin has risen really significantly, more than 25% over the last couple of weeks. Of course, we know there's been a really big buyer. The Luna Foundation has confirmed to Bloomberg that they have been buying about more than $1 billion worth of Bitcoin since late January, including millions worth of purchases on Monday. So that's a steady rise for Bitcoin, certainly in the last couple of weeks. It really does, Emily, outpace the S&P 500 since the war started, which only rose about 6% in that time frame. And if you take a look at Ethereum, it's risen even further than Bitcoin has. Of course, we know that's around the excitement around the merge, among other things. However, we're seeing, if you take a look there, about a 30% rise or so in Ethereum. Now, over the last 24 hours, yes, we've seen a big jump, but that has started to level off both with Ethereum and with Bitcoin. So we'll see how much room it has to run. People who are watching the space closely are waiting for it to get to 50,000 for Bitcoin, 51,000.
What are the biggest hurdles that remain for Bitcoin? Obviously, there's a major regulatory one.
Yeah, that is one of the biggest things. The SEC has not yet approved a spot Bitcoin ETF, even with the futures-based ETFs really taking off here. The ProShares Bitcoin ETF, again, not a huge rise since it first really started, but we do see it coming back up along with the rise in Bitcoin for the year. Something interesting, Emily, you can look at it both ways. The big banks, Goldman Sachs among other big market makers as well, have started to make a lot of Bitcoin derivative products that help institutions get exposure to Bitcoin without holding it itself. My sources say every day that there's not a spot ETF, more people get into these derivative products to get exposure to Bitcoin while they can't get exposure to a more direct spot ETF.
And what about NFTs? We saw NFT sales sputter a bit. Are we seeing any kind of recovery there?
You see a little bit of a recovery there, as you saw in that last chart. It's down significantly from the highs, Emily, and that's according to NFTgo.io. But you're seeing it, and this is by volume, to be certain. If you look at by market cap, it's still quite high. But this all goes to say Bitcoin itself has taken a rise. All of these other products follow on the heels of how fast Bitcoin can rise. Let's see if NFT sales in the next couple of weeks start to catch up. Should Bitcoin keep its bid?